So already you know it. So just I'm going to quick review only. If you have a doubt or any questions, also please you can ask me, no problem. Okay. PC components. So when you see a system cabinet, so when I say system cabinet, okay, this is system cabinet. It's a box. Okay, for a desktop, this is the cabinet box. For laptop, the outer whatever you are seeing, that is like a cabinet. Okay. Inside this cabinet, you may have a CPU, RAM, okay. So motherboard, hard disk, CD-RAM, all these things inside your cabinet on. Okay. System cabinet of computer. So you can better that is, you can see here it is. So if you see, this is a motherboard, SMPS, hard disk, CD-RAM, like that it is there. And backside of the cabinet, you may able to connect a power supply, and you can connect is what we can say, keyboard, mouse, monitor, okay, those kind of stuff, like you can able to connect it, okay. Printers, you can able to connect, okay. So this is our cabinet. Inside, so you have a motherboard, and on motherboard you have a CPU, you have a RAM, and you have a hard disk inside a cabinet, hard disk, CD-RAM. This is SMPS. Outside we are connecting our keyboard, mouse, printers, projectors, or monitors. Okay, power supply connections we are doing from. And the front side of it, you have a power button, power LEDs, hard disk LEDs, like that. If you have a CD-ROM or DVD, so there is a CD DVD tray also there. Okay, and USB port connection, earphones or headphones connection, speaker connections also there inside. Okay, so first thing is, guys, this is called a cabinet. This is a cabinet. It is not a CPU. Okay, so this is a cabinet components. Okay, so then what is the CPU? Okay, what is the CPU? CPU is the central processing unit. It's a chip like this. If you have a desktop or a laptop or a mobile phone, they have a CPU inside. Sometimes we may not able to remove the CPU from certain type of systems, but your desktop and laptops, we can remove and reinsert this CPU. So this is the CPU, how it is. This is the back side of the CPU. And earlier I showed that is front side of the CPU, top side. And this is the bottom side of the CPU. This is the older CPUs which contains like a pin configurations. Some have some processor under bottom, there is a pin configurations. Pins are there, and here it is, dots are there. This is another type of processor. But top side, it is like this. So simple, a single chip. So this is the guy who actually inserting on your motherboard is inserting the processor. Is inserting the processor. See this? The processor is inserting on the motherboard. Okay, this is your processor. Okay, so what is the CPU? A central processing unit. The box is not CPU, it is a cabinet. Okay, also called as processor, CPU, central processing unit, or processor. What CPU will do it? What is a CPU thing is will do? It do arithmetic and logical operations. Arithmetic and logical operations. So it will do the calculations. Okay. It's also called as brain of the computer. Brain of the computer. Without CPU, so there is not at all a computer it is. Okay. There compulsory CPU must be. Okay. So single chip. It's a single chip. It's a chip. If you want a picture, I can also get the picture. Here it is. I have some information. Okay. This is how CPU is looking. Next one is, already primary memories. What are the primary memories? Your RAM and ROM. What are the primary memories? RAM and ROM. So what is the difference between RAM and ROM? Which is again most common, guys. What are the interview as a fresher you go? It is a common thing, and of course you must know the difference between the RAM and ROM. What is RAM? Random access memory. Then what is ROM? Read-only memory. Okay. RAM stores data temporary. Okay. ROM stores data permanent. Permanently it stores the data. RAM is example of volatile memory. Okay. ROM is example of non-volatile memory. Okay. Okay. Then what is volatile memory? Volatile memory device. What is a volatile memory? The data in the device is lost when power is off. When you shut down your PC, data in the RAM automatically it is gone. So what is the volatile? This volatile memory data in the device is lost when power is off. What is non-volatile memory? What is non-volatile memory? Data in the device means non-volatile device is remains in the device even the power is off. Okay, if you shut down a PC also, whatever the data in the ROM won't be removed. But there is another difference is there, guys. So what is that? It is RAM has a size, speed. Okay, RAM has a specific like 2 GB RAM, 3 GB RAM, 4 GB RAM also there. Different speeds are there. 133 megahertz speed, 233 megahertz speed, 266 megahertz speed. Okay, 3400 megahertz speed, 2400 megahertz speed. Like sizes and speeds are there. Okay. Next one is RAM can be changeable. You can change the RAM. Okay. Like you can add a new RAM or you can able to replace RAM. Okay. You can remove or replace the RAM. You can add RAM also possible. You can able to replace the RAM. Can be changeable means you can add RAM or replace the RAM or you can able to remove RAM. So all are same one. ROM size and speed does not matter. It maybe has a size and speed, never seen it. ROM is a chip. ROM is a fixed chip on motherboard. Okay. It's a fixed chip. We cannot remove or replace or change the RAM. Okay. We cannot add, remove, replace. By default, generally, in generally. In general. So what I'm trying to say is in generally we cannot change. Okay. That's the difference between RAM and ROM. Okay. Yes, understand the difference between RAM and ROM?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So if you need more, then also I can able to share more information. What is RAM? Random access memory. It is a one of the primary memory. Okay. RAM is also called as main memory. Main memory, physical memory. Okay. So it is also called as main memory or a physical memory kind of stuff also. Without a RAM, we cannot boot your system. Okay. Without RAM, we cannot able to boot your system. This is a primary memory. Without primary memories, you cannot start anyway computer. Okay. So RAM also having a two types of RAMs. There is a two types of RAM. One is SRAM, another one is DRAM. SRAM used as CHA, CHA. Cache memory inside of CPU. Okay, that is a cache memory. What is a cache memory? It is inside your CPU, which provide speed. The faster data transactions improves inside your CPU. Next one is DRAM. DRAM has lot of versions. Yes, DRAM. Then it is become SDRAM, EDORAM, VRAM. Different versions are there. Again, in this one, the SDRAM further developed into DDR1, DDR2, DDR3, DDR4, DDR5. The current running outside is DDR4 and DDR5. Okay. Here someone asked me a question, that is, what is a laptop RAM kind of stuff. Okay. So guys, RAM also having a package. This DRAM. Okay. Packages are there. Like a DIP, SIM, DIM, RIM, SODIM. Okay. So different names are there. We don't want all the things. This is a DIM, dual inline memory module. What is the use of DIM? DIM for desktop models, for a desktop PCs. And what is about a SODIM? Small outline, again, small outline dual inline memory module. Okay, this is for laptop. Okay, this is for a laptop. So if you have a laptop, so what type of RAM you use it? SODIM. SODIM model you have to buy, not a DIM model. Okay. Of course, these are we are not at all using right now. So it is a single inline memory module. Okay. DIP is some I didn't remember. So DIP will be there also. Think for DIP also I didn't write in. Okay. Now, so small DIP package is RAM DIP packages are look like this one. Simple like an IC type like this. Okay. Dual inline package, not memory module. It is dual inline package because this is one single, is itself a memory module. Dual inline package. DIP. Single inline memory module. Dual inline memory module. This is RAM bus. Remaining is same. Okay. This is this is for desktops and usually for servers like a hardware servers also we use it because it contains a shielding on it. For example, you see RIM. Okay. See, this is exactly the RIM model. It is RDRAM, RAM bus DRAM. It contains a what we can say heat sink. So if you are running a server for 24/7, so it will get lot of heat now. So there is a heat sink. This RAM bus inline. Even for desktops, gaming PCs, we use this kind of RIM packages. It's like a DIMM and RIM type. It's a kind of DIMM and RIM. And this is a desktop model. So if you see, this is a lengthy one. It is a DIMM package. This is a DIMM. Okay, so it is for desktop. Okay, so DIMM packages are smaller. Okay, see this is the difference. This one is DIMM package, bigger one is a DIMM package, the smaller one is SODIMM packages. Okay, these are all for a laptop purpose. This is a laptop motherboard. So this is how we can insert a RAM inside and you have to little press, then it will be fixed inside. Okay. So that is for laptop. For laptop, it is SODIMM. For desktop, DIMM. Anything I missed it? This part. If you want the pictures also, I can give the pictures. Actually, I have a complete notes on it. Anyway, we got the this desktop picture. So we put it this. So this is for a desktop purpose. Guys, RAM is always we discuss based on the sizes. 4 GB RAM, 8 GB RAM, 16 GB RAM, like that only. Okay. And of course, RAM has a speed. If you check it, my RAM is 16 GB RAM. And the speed is 2667 megahertz speed. And SODIMM package. Form factor or a package. It's a SODIMM package. Okay. So this RAM won't fit in my laptop. So for my laptop, so what I need this one. Okay. This is for laptop purpose. Okay. If you want to replace your RAM or you want to add a new RAM, so you are having a 8 GB RAM in your laptop, then you want to add more RAM to your PC. Want to add more RAM to your PC. Then what to do? So you have to check mainly two things. One is it your CPU is supporting the total RAM capacity or not, and speed of the RAM and type of the RAM. Three things. Speed of the RAM, size of the RAM, and model or a type of RAM type. Okay. So you have to check it with your processor model. Is your processor is supporting or not? For example, I have a processor, it support up to 64 GB. So I can go to 32 GB or 64 GB. Up to that one, I can expand it. No problem. And my processor support only DDR4. So I cannot install DDR5. My processor support only 2666 speed of RAM. So I have to use that model only. So I cannot go beyond that one. Okay. So like that, depends upon your CPU. You have to choose your RAM. Next, check your motherboard specifications also. Your motherboard is suited for a DDR5. So it won't fit DDR4. It won't fit a DDR3. Your motherboard having only 2 slots. So you cannot put a more RAMs. Like 4 RAMs you cannot install. So you have to adjust between the 2 RAMs only. 2 RAM slots. 2 RAMs with the 2 RAMs only you have to do it. Okay. So number of slots, memory type, voltage levels, these things we have to verify. One is easiest one is check the old RAM. See the specifications on the older RAM and add a new RAM in it. Okay. So, so RAM is generally we see as a size, but actually RAM is also in the size is also matter, very important. Plus speed of the RAM, models and voltage levels. Mainly when you are adding and or replacing existing RAM or adding a new RAM to the existing RAM. Okay, means another slot you are inserting new RAM. So these things you have to do it. Of course, I want to make it very simple, but I made it very bigger. Okay. So these are the major points about a RAM. How you replace your RAM? How you replace your RAM? Open the cabinet, either it is laptop RAM or a desktop RAM. Okay. So you have to open the cabinet for desktop. Side panel is there, side opening thing is there. So unscrew and then open it and go to the motherboard, remove the RAM and replace the RAM. Before doing that one, you have to disconnect all the power supplies. First of all, you have to disconnect all the power supplies. Then remove the open the cabinet, remove the RAM and reinsert RAM. Okay, so insert another RAM. Okay, close the cabinet and screw it. Even for a laptop, same thing. Disconnect all power supply, main charging power supply, battery power supply at and the bottom of the laptop. So usually your laptop and bottom means you have to do the flip of your laptop. Backside you have to unscrew and remove the backside panel and then check it where is your RAM is located. Side small points are there, just pins are there. If you just move out, then automatically your RAM is pop up. Remove the RAM and insert a new RAM inside. Click it. Then close the backside one so that cover. Okay, screw it. Insert the batteries. Insert the power supplies. Power on your system. Make sure that your system is working, and make sure that your RAM is showing as you insert it. Okay. So this is also sometimes step by step you have to work. So this is about your. I told about CPU only small thing. If you go to the CPU point, so there is some more about a CPU kind of stuff is also there. So anyway, I little bit went little additionally. Okay. CPU, different manufacturers are there, guys. Mainly, we have a Intel and AMD processor. This Intel and AMD is more popular. I'm using Intel processor i5 10th generation processor. So you may use a AMD processors. Okay, Intel processors are there, AMD processor. Processors look like this one, small shape. Okay, every processor also having a specification, speed, width. Okay, um, FSB speed, cache memories, number of cores, number of threads, virtualization, enabled or not. Okay, so what is that kind of stuff? See, it is, if you see the C processor also having a model, right? So which processor you are using? i5 10210 processor. The speed, you can check this clock speed. Speed determines the speed of processing power. Then what is this width? Width means currently we are using 64-bit processors only. In olden days, we use 32-bit processor. From last 5-6 years, most of our computers, laptops are 64-bit processors only. Okay. What is this FSB? So when you go to the processor details, you'll find a RAM model. Okay. What type of RAM is suitable to communicate with this processor? RAM model, clock speed. So if I have a processor, what type of RAM I have to choose? So that is will be given by the RAM, processor specifications. Cache memories. What is a cache memory? So which is inside your processor, helps your processor to feed instructions and data. Okay. So number of cores, number of logical processor, virtualization technologies. Because nowadays almost all processors are 64-bit only. And very recently, all the laptops and desktops, that processors comes with a built-in virtualization technology inside. Yeah, month.
Sir, very good afternoon, sir. Due to
Yeah,
some technical reasons, I joined the class late today.
okay.
Yeah, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
You got 15, means 14. So who is missing here? Santosh came. Dev Patel. Pawanchand came. Okay. Yeah, I thought. Okay. 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 See this. Number of socket 1 means it's a single processor on my system. Number of cores are 4. Logical processors are 8. And virtualization technology is enabled and 6 MB cache. More the cache memory, the higher speed, higher performance of processor is there. Because the cache will load instructions from RAM to the processor to the cache to RAM. It's like a, so whatever the instructions I given here, whatever application I'm running, that application related instructions and data go to the RAM only. From RAM to the processor cache. From cache to the processor ALU. So once the calculations, everything is done, and it will give that information to cache to your RAM to it displays on our screen. Okay, so that is with the help of cache, it speed up the processing. We can able to run more instructions one by one, execution speed increases because the processor is very faster. Only thing is you have to give that level of instructions to the processor. Okay, so number of cores and logical processor increases, the multitasking, the performance of CPU, multitasking kind of stuff also increases. And what about a virtualization? virtualization enabled means I can create different virtual machines in my physical machine. Virtualization is enabled means inside your processor, the virtualization related thing is there. So you can create multiple virtual machines inside your single physical machine. What is the use? You can see, guys, this is a Windows Server operating system in this virtual machine. This is Windows 10 operating system in this particular virtual machines. This is Windows Server 2003. It's a very old version. And this is again Windows 10. So mainly I use this Windows 10 for my do some programming related kind of stuff. Separately, I have to run some web related programming. So then I need these Tomcat servers, MySQL backend servers are required. So I am using this. Okay. I think yesterday in the class also I showed a Linux machine. So the Linux machine also running in my PC. So how it is possible based on the virtualization. So this is a Windows 10 virtual machine. It's a virtual machine with Windows 10 operating system inside. But separately I installed some ETL tools, database tools like that. Okay. A data visualization. So for practice purpose. This is a Linux, this is Linux, this is Linux, this is Linux. This is some service desk tool called a voice ticketing tool. Ticketing software is there. This is a Linux, this is monitoring tool, and this is Ubuntu. This is also Ubuntu Linux. These two are Ubuntu Linux. This is three are CentOS. This is Oracle Enterprise Linux. See it is. So it depends upon my requirement. I will turn on the virtual machine. I use it. Okay. So only because of it is possible with this virtualization is enabled. Okay. So if you are going to the processor, so what you have to check it, speed, width, cache memories, number of cores, number of threads or logical processors, and virtualization technologies there are not. Of course, there is other points also there on the processor. I am just giving few. And here I mentioned about mobile phone processors also. So CPU, RAM, RAM and ROM differences, and this is all about RAM only. Okay. So anything else about RAM? Yeah. This is RAM loose connectivity, and this is the diagram. That's it. Guys, up to here, understanding?
Yes, sir.
So I'm revising, so I'm not going depth of points, but I cannot help myself to tell those things. Okay. Again, what is ROM? In a primary memories, RAM and ROM. ROM is little big chapter it is. So then what is a ROM? Okay. What is ROM? Okay. So ROM is also one of the primary memory. It is a permanent memory. Example for a non-volatile memory. Okay. Another example of non-volatile memory is also there. That is like your hard disk, SSDs. Okay. Your pen drives, SD cards, flash drives. Okay. Because even you power off the device, power off the system, still there is a power inside. Okay. So again, RAM, we cannot able to replace. We cannot put any data inside also. read only. So you cannot put any data inside by default. Okay. So ROM is a chip which is directly from the manufacturer. Take it and put it on your motherboard. The manufacturer already put instructions inside your ROM chip. Then it is become a difficult for a motherboard manufacturers. Okay, because of ROM manufacturer already given instructions, so you have to tell what instructions should be inside to the manufacturer. Instead of that, so what these motherboard manufacturers are done, so they ask ROM chip manufacturers, so create a ROM chip without contain any data. The chip does not contain any. It's like a IC only. It's like a small chip only. Okay. It does not contain any instructions or data inside. So it is like they created as a programmable read-only memory. So this motherboard manufacturer take ROM chip, insert on a motherboard, and then they will program it. Only once. Once you programmed, you cannot erase it. Okay, you cannot erase it or reprogramming it. So once it is done, that's it. Okay. So what is this ROM chip contents? Of course, there is a EEPROM chip is all EEPROM. It is a rewritable. So we can EEPROM chips, whatever we are using, it's not exactly ROM chips. We are using EEPROM chips. These EEPROM chips contains, so it is a rewritable. So we can program it and you can also reprogram it also. Okay. So there is a possibility. These ROM chips or EEPROM chips, the fixed chips which has a program called a BIOS. In our computer, so or a laptop or a desktop, on the motherboard, these BIOS chips are there. Why it is called as a BIOS chip? Because the program inside the ROM chip is name is BIOS. Okay, the program. What is it? What is a BIOS? Is a firmware. Firmware, like that. Any two-way, three-way spells is there. Firmware, 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 like that. Okay. So firmware. Some people say it's a firmware. Most people. Okay. So what is a BIOS? It is nothing but a firmware which inside your ROM chip. What is BIOS? Basic input output system. Basic input output system. The abbreviation of BIOS. BIOS is a program. It's nothing but a firmware. BIOS helps to boot your system. BIOS contains your motherboard component information. When you power on your system, BIOS will tell how to do this post operation. BIOS recognize the hardware device. BIOS recognize hardware devices. So when you power on your system, the BIOS chip will get that informations like what is the processor is inserted, what hard disk is inserted, what is RAM is inserted, what graphic card is inserted. It get that hardware information into this BIOS. Okay. It also tells how to load OS, based on the priority levels. Okay, it gives boot priority levels. So from which device you have to start giving priority to load OS. From CD-ROM, from hard disk, like that it will give. Okay. It locates and loads operating system. It helps operating system to access the hardware devices. This BIOS firmware, now it is updated. The newer systems, the updated version of BIOS is UEFI, Unified Extensible Firmware Interface. Unified Extensible Firmware Interface. It's nothing but a newer version of your BIOS. Okay. So what is a BIOS? It's a firmware. The firmware which is inside your BIOS chip is your BIOS. Okay. In your ROM, it is BIOS. The newer name of your BIOS is, newer version of BIOS is UEFI. BIOS is called a legacy setup because it's the older one. So that's why we call it as a legacy setup. Okay. So when you power on your system, the post operation is happen, right? So power on self-test. So how to do this post operation will be told by your BIOS chip only. And next, at the time of post operation, the BIOS chip will try to recognize the hardware devices are installed or connected to your motherboard, like your CPU details, RAM details, hard disk details, and other component details also it will get it. BIOS shows the location of your operating system, means so from what are the devices in the priority order, you have to search for the bootable disk. Okay. So this is about a BIOS. And different BIOS manufacturers also there, like AMI BIOS, Advert BIOS, Phonix BIOS, HP BIOS, Dell BIOS, like that. You guys understand up to here? The afternoon time, it's difficult to concentrate, but up to BIOS.
Yes, sir.
Am I repeating unnecessarily, or I think you know already? So what is this BIOS? Contains hardware information, like what is your CPU, what RAM, what hard disk you are using, what CD-RAM you are using, hardware information. We can check or change some hardware settings through the BIOS settings. What is meant by BIOS settings? So when you power on your system, you have to press the BIOS key. Generally, it is a delete button. Generally, it is a delete button. In some places we use, in certain computers, F2, F12, F10, depends upon the BIOS manufacturer. There is a BIOS key. For laptops, sometimes it is required to press function key plus BIOS key. Like your BIOS key is F2 and you have to press function key plus F2. So on the system, it will shows like this. This is your BIOS. Okay. So when you power on your system, either top or bottom of the screen, it shows how to go to the BIOS setup. So this is F2 for setup. Okay. So what you can able to do once you are inside your BIOS? What you can able to do once you are in the BIOS settings? You can check and change and change. You can check and also you can change the date and time. We can set the password so then no one can able to, means any unauthorized user can able to access your BIOS settings, or they cannot able to change any settings of your BIOS by the BIOS password. This BIOS password is different from your operating system. OS password is different. BIOS password is. Hmm. Okay. Can change password. We can enable or disable hardware related features. If you are having a very new laptop or a desktop, mostly the virtualization technology is already enabled inside your system. Okay. If you go little older, so older means 5 years back, 6 years back, if you have your own desktop or laptop, so it may require you have to change the BIOS settings. Even I face this issue with some students, like they never enable at the time of engineering, they purchased it. Now almost all 5, 6 years. Okay. So they cannot able to create a virtual machine. So that will throw in some error. Then I told them to go to the BIOS settings and in there find out where is this virtualization technology enabled. We can enable or disable certain hardware features. Example, by virtualization technologies. You can check your CPU configuration, RAM configuration, hard disk or SSD, CD-ROM if it is there. You can change your boot priorities. Finally, can save and exit. Again, here it is a note point that is BIOS password is different from BIOS. Guys, this is it's just like the screens are different from one laptop to another laptop, one desktop to another desktop kind of stuff. Okay. So it depends upon the BIOS manufacturer, the BIOS settings look like different. The basic concept is same always. If you look at this screen, there is a date and time. Okay. This date and time has to be continuously run. Okay. This date and time has to continuously run. You can change the date and time. If in case it is showing wrong date and time, we can also change date and time from here up. Yeah. And if you observe, there is a CPU. Okay, there is a CPU and CPU cache memory, CPU speed, fixed HDD hard disk, and of course there is a CD-ROM, DVD writer, not CD-ROM, so DVD is there. And 8 GB total memory means RAM. And RAM is 1600 megahertz speed. And the processor is i7 fourth generation processor. It is. Okay. So this is our system details from BIOS settings. Date and time, CPU, hard disk, DVD writer, and RAM. This is it's like a changing of hardware settings. So if you see this Intel virtualization technologies enabled. Initially it is disabled. Now it is enabled. If the power management is disabled, if it is required for you, you can enable it. Depends upon your knowledge, depends upon your requirement. You can enable or disable certain features. Like overclocking kind of stuff also you can do it. This is for us setting up password to your BIOS. Only it protection for BIOS settings, not for your entire computer. Okay, your main operating system password is to protect your main computer data, operating system application access from other users. But this is only for BIOS settings. Either people, if you know the user password, you can able to view the BIOS settings. If you know the supervisor password, so you can able to change the setting. If you don't know any of it, you cannot enter inside. Okay. And this is a boot priorities. As these boot priorities, CD-ROM, removable device, hard disk, and network. These are our 4 boot priorities. So when you power on your system, first is post. Once post is successful, what it will do, our system search for the bootable device. First, it will search the CD-ROM. Is any bootable disk is inserted? OS related disk is inserted. Yes means load it from it. Don't check remaining. No means it will search for any USB drives contains OS. Is anything is attached? No, then go for the next one is hard disk. So is a hard disk having a OS? Then load it. No, then go for a network search. is in a network, voice is available, load it from there. No means again it throw the error finally. Okay. So it is a boot priority. We can change the boot priority as requirement. So I will put a hard disk as a first one. Why? Because my mainly voice is in the hard disk. So I don't require to install it again and again. Anyway, I don't do it. So when I start my PC, after a push is completed, system will simply try to search for a hard disk and voice in the voice for a hard disk, like voice disk, it find and load it. Okay. So guys, this is the BIOS settings. What is the BIOS settings? It contains hardware information, and also you can change the hardware settings. You can also check and change the date and time. Okay. You can change hardware settings. You can change boot priorities. Okay. These are the things. We can set password also. Sometimes it is required to go to the BIOS settings or UEFI settings to do a certain task in your system, to get certain features or to disable certain features, to change certain settings. You guys understand what is BIOS setting?
Yes, sir.
I will tell about CMOS battery and then we can take a break. Okay, so then I will tell about motherboard and SMPS, just few points only, because there is an important things again. What is the difference between hard disk and SSD? In the storages, what is the difference between hard disk and SSDs? And also will tell different other storage devices also. Okay, and there is a question that is RAM and hard disk differences also there. So that is also we're going to discuss. I will give some troubleshooting questions also. What is a CMOS battery, guys? It's a lithium battery. Actually, battery is lithium battery, 3 volts lithium battery. We are calling it as a CMOS battery, but actually it is lithium battery. So guys, remember this always, the battery never stores any kind of data. Battery never stores any kind of data or information or instructions inside. The battery is a power source. It contains power. It stores the power. Okay. So what is the purpose of this battery? It will give a power supply to your CMOS chip. What is CMOS chip here? Is your BIOS chip. What is your CMOS chip? Is your BIOS chip only. Okay. What is the BIOS chip? Again, BIOS chip contains a firmware or firmware. BIOS is nothing but a firmware or firmware which is inside your ROM chip. But there is a certain data is temporary. So in a BIOS chip, the main BIOS chip contains a data. So that is a permanent data. But there is a few things like what are the changes you have made it, like hardware related settings changes in the BIOS, or maybe boot priority order changes, or date and times, passwords. These are all temporary data. These are all temporary only. When you power off your system, you shut down your system, these changes, what are the BIOS changes you have done, the date and time you changed, okay, the passwords you are set for securing your BIOS, okay, all these boot priorities will be resetted to the factory default. Okay, factory default. You know, if you remember if anyone is remember the keypad phones, small feature phones are there. You use it for 1 or 2 days. Okay, use it for 1 or 2 days. Okay, after that one, remove the backside battery and reinsert. Sheet, the recent dialed list. Okay, received, failed, all these missed calls. All the data will be gone. Just remove the backside battery and reinsert the battery. Okay, the date and time will be changes. Current date and time is you given like a 2024 July 2nd, but it will go back to 2020 or maybe 2000 year or 1990 year. So why it is? The data in the BIOS is the store permanently when this manufacturer is doing that time. So later, what are the changes you made it? Okay, is like a running date and time or a BIOS password settings priorities. The changes what you are made it, that is going to the factory default. Okay, so to protect it from the factory default setting, resetting into the factory default settings, we should use a battery. This battery will give continuous power supply to your BIOS chip. Okay, so what are the changes you made it that is stores in your BIOS as long as your CMOS battery is giving power supply to it. Okay, so guys, why this BIOS chip is also called as CMOS chip? CMOS chip, okay? CMOS is a chip manufacturing technology. CMOS is a transistor technology. Help the transistors. With the CMOS transistors only, we are manufacturing these chipsets. Your processor, RAM, ROM, all these things are manufactured with the CMOS technology. Okay? All are this manufactured with the CMOS. So that's why your BIOS chip is also a CMOS technology build one CMOS chip. So what it is given power supply to the a BIOS chip. That's why our BIOS battery or a CMOS battery, we are calling this one as a CMOS. Actually, it is lithium battery. If you go to the market, ask for a lithium battery, they don't understand. So you have to ask for the CMOS battery, then they will understand. Okay. Guys, remember BIOS battery means it's a lithium battery. BIOS battery or CMOS battery means it's a lithium battery, 3 volts. It never stores any data inside. Okay. This battery used to give power supply to your BIOS chip. To keep and run date and time. To keep and run date and time. To keep the passwords, settings, the changes, priorities, all these things. What are the configuration you have made it to keep it like that? So this BIOS batteries helps. If you remove the CMOS battery or a BIOS battery or a lithium battery, it is. If you remove and reinsert it, it shows CMOS checksum error. If you remove this battery, power off your system, remove the battery and reinsert the battery, power on your system. So what happened? What are the settings? The saved settings, date and time, everything is gone. It goes to the factory default. So then it will show CMOS checksum error or a bad. If it is showing only one time, so you go to the BIOS setting, change the settings again, and then you can continue work. But every time you are getting this CMOS checksum error, every time you start your PC, you are getting CMOS checksum error or a bad, it may be possible that the CMOS battery power is completed. No power inside. So you have to do, open the cabinet, remove the battery, reinsert the new battery, and close the cabinet, start. Again, you will get CMOS battery checksum error. Change the BIOS settings as you required. Then next time you won't get this issue. Okay. So this is about your ROM. It's very simple, guys. Again, what is the CPU? What is RAM and ROM difference? So what type of RAM you use for laptop? What type of RAM you use for the desktop? Okay. What is meant by CMOS battery or BIOS? Understand. Okay. So take a break, guys. So when you will be back? Come back at 4:10. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.